On Tuesday, a jury found 19-year-old Carmelo Anthony guilty of murdering 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. His lawyers plan to appeal. They say prosecutors wrongly excluded black people from the jury.
He was right. We wouldn't even be here today. It would have never came to court. It would have never been.
Good afternoon, beautiful people, and happy Friday. I almost did not want to talk about this topic because the aftermath of it all disturbs me in more ways than one, and we just have to call out foolishness when we see it. So today we are talking about the Carmelo Anthony case, a case that has divided the country, sparked endless social media arguments, and once again, it exposes a growing problem in America. Not just crime, not just race, but our inability to agree on a simple principle. Wrong is wrong, and if we lose that principle, then justice becomes nothing more than a team sport. Welcome to Nelly Miranda. A Texas jury convicted Carmelo Anthony of murder in the fatal stabbing of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. After hearing the evidence, the jury sentenced Anthony to 35 years in prison. Judge John Roach later defended both the verdict and the sentence, even while describing Anthony as a nice young man. The judge made it clear that being a nice young man does not excuse taking a life. And that is where I want to begin, because somewhere along the way, America started confusing sympathy with innocence. Those are not the same thing.
American racial drama played out. Not because everyone saw it that way, but because a group of activists insisted on seeing it that way.
I said, as a former prosecutor, this was a legal lynching that happened in this slaughterhouse. This is a slaughterhouse. This is not a courthouse. This courthouse is designed when you would come here and you look like us, to slaughter you. That's what they were. Those twins are domestic racist terrorists.
Illegal lynching, huh? So Carmelo murdering Austin was an illegal lynching? Let's be consistent. You can feel sympathy for a teenager whose life is now effectively over. You can feel sympathy for his parents. You can feel sympathy for everyone involved. But sympathy does not erase accountability. You stabbed another kid at a track meet where no liquor was involved. Clearly sober-minded. So what happens when you're at a bar or a club? You're 21 and up. Alcohol is involved. And now you claim to be feeling endangered. Do you then shoot the club up? Come on, black people, let's be for real.
An interview with the parents of a Texas teenager sentenced this week to 35 years in prison for killing a fellow high school athlete. On Tuesday, a jury found 19-year-old Carmelo Anthony guilty of murdering 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. His lawyers plan to appeal. They say prosecutors wrongly excluded black people from the jury. Anthony's parents spoke with Jonah Kaplan about their son, the trial, and their message to the Metcalf family.
My son didn't intend to hurt anyone. My son was defending himself.
It took less than 3 hours for a jury to reject 19-year-old Carmelo Anthony's claims of self-defense in the stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. Prosecutors argued Anthony intentionally killed Metcalf after being taunted and shoved by Metcalf and his teammates at a high school track meet.
Now, what has fascinated me isn't just the verdict, it is the reaction, because instead of talking about Austin Metcalf, many people immediately shifted to arguing that Carmelo Anthony shouldn't face consequences. His mom claims he was defending himself and had no intention on harming Austin. So if he was simply defending himself, would a punch in the face not suffice? And, by the way, can we teach our children that the best form of self-defense is removing yourself completely from the situation if it is safe to do so? He could have left and went to his team's tent. I've seen people saying, well, it was raining outside. Spare us. In Oregon, our kids run in the rain at track meets all the time. A little rain never hurts anybody. But anyways, enter in Jasmine Crockett. Take a listen.
He ended up hitting Austin one time, and it was about where he hit him. One time, 2 inches. This wasn't someone who said, hey, let me stab you 5, 6, 7 times. And so when you're looking at the punishment range, there's a reason in Texas that it goes from 5 to 99 or life, because you are looking at How intentional, like how bad was this? 35 years for a kid who had decided to go under a tent that was not his team's tent as it was raining, and simply didn't want to be put out in the rain by some random kid that he didn't know who was larger than him. Listen, a lot of people don't know what it is to live as a black person in this country, but just like you can give the benefit of the doubt to so many police officers when they go out and they shoot some black unarmed person, even though they are trained, the fact that there was little to no mercy seen or humanity seen when this black boy said that I was scared, or the fact that honestly anybody else who did something with such a small object, all I know is that it wasn't considered unlawful carrying of a weapon.
So if this were a white boy in his exact same position, you don't think he'd get a 35-year sentence?
I would guarantee you it wouldn't have happened. I don't even know if he would have been convicted, because if a white boy would have said that they were afraid of a black boy, something tells me that that jury that didn't have any black people on it, they would have believed him in his fear.
The absence of black jurors is a major talking point. Those who support Karmelo Anthony argues that the jury selection process was unfair. Others argued that the evidence mattered more than the racial makeup of the jury. And I sure am curious how the black delegation would have reacted if he was found guilty despite having black jurors. I guess we'll never know. But to be fair, I've seen cases where people convicted of murder received far less than 35 years. So did Carmelo Anthony deserve 35 years? I don't know. That's subjective, and people are entitled to their opinions on that. But at the end of the day, that was the jury's verdict. We can argue all day long about the sentence. But the bigger question is, did he deserve to be punished for what he did? And in my view, yes. If he serves the full 35 years, he'll be around 54 years old when he gets out. He also has the opportunity to appeal, and I'm sure he will. So there's a chance that he may not serve the entire sentence. In other words, he may still have an opportunity to build a life for himself one day. Austin Metcalf doesn't have that opportunity. Austin is gone. He is buried in a grave, and no appeal, no court's ruling, and no sentence reduction will ever bring him back. That's what I think people need to understand. The loss of a human life is far greater than someone spending some years behind bars. One person still has a future. However limited it may be, the other has no future at all.
He was right. We wouldn't even be here today. It would have never came to court. It would have never been no handcuffs. We wouldn't be here today. They said we supposed to know how to act around white people. What the is that? You should have taught your sons to go get a adult like we know how to do.
Friends of the Metcalf family were even followed to their car. So the question is, how far has this reaction spread? It's far enough that Cardi B has a take. She wrote on X, "Wow, just frickin' wow, disgusting. This is not justice. This is trying to make an example." But Cardi B is a moron. The question is, how widespread is this sentiment? Does a significant percentage of Black America see the victim as Carmelo Anthony?
The answer to his question is yes. Too high of a percentage of Black America see Carmelo Anthony as the victim. You got Black people creating AI photos of them peeing on Austin's grave. Others are commenting on it, on the photos, and saying you should have pooped on it instead. Look at this one. Dion says, "Better than me. I would have taken a number 2. One big rich folk replied, "I'm gonna go back tomorrow in diarrhea on that B word after taking some laxatives." And then when called out on it, the user named One Big Rich Folk said, "MS be mad at AI. LMAO. That's what's crazy. That's what be crazy shows how racist y'all is." My mind was going in circles trying to read that. But anyways, so him posting that photo wasn't racist, but being called out on it is everyone else being racist. And just like that, he too is a victim of racism. Give me a break. Then you have this collage of them doing this. Regardless if it's AI, the thought process behind this is disgusting. And then you have this guy claiming that we need a day where we just punch white people for no reason at all. He said kids, adults, grandma, grandpa, it doesn't matter. Watch.
A white boy. See, they not used to this shit happening to them, y'all. My only problem is it should happen more. This is where I'm fucking up. This is where I got a problem with my people. It should happen more. We should make a day like every Thursday or every Wednesday where we just wake up and fuck up a white girl or a white boy. Just pick. A little girl smacked the shit out of her. Little boy smacked the shit out of him. Old lady, white, whatever. We should set up a day once a week where we just fuck them up, y'all. Until they go back to the mountains. Yeah, let's set a day where we just fuck them up. Oh, just cuz. We wake up, we yawn, we brush our teeth, we wash our face, and we go outside and we just fuck them up. First, that's how we gotta start getting our day started.
Well, first of all, can we make men men again? But aside from that, black people, do not listen to this fool. You might mess around and find that white person whose black fatigue is up to here. And then they shoot you, and next thing we know, your family is crying. Dante was a good person. He didn't deserve that. He did not mean to harm anyone. And now you're the victim for abusing someone first. Make it make sense. I mean, wow. We're embarrassing. Embarrassing. So again, we can debate whether race influences certain cases. We can debate whether the sentence was too harsh or too light. But can we talk about what could have happened if he pled guilty instead of playing the victim?
Give Carmelo Anthony 35 years in prison because he's black. They gave him 35 years in prison because his parents didn't care about him. Let me tell you why. Everybody has an arraignment and everybody's offered a plea deal. Everybody's offered a plea deal, everybody. If he would have pled guilty, he could have got maybe 7 years, 5 years, something small. But if he pled guilty, that would have cut his family's fundraiser short. You know, the fundraiser they bought a $1 million home with or something like that. If he would have pled guilty, it probably would have been a manslaughter charge, something like that. Prosecutors would have worked out a deal. No, but his parents said no. You're going to plead not guilty. We want you to go to trial. We're going to keep the fundraiser going.
They needed a better lawyer to begin with. The fact that they had a guy with multiple mugshots saying anything on their behalf was pure foolishness. With all the money that they raised, they should have hired a good law firm to represent them. In my opinion, I think the parents used this tragedy to make a couple $100,000. And then one day when Anthony gets older, when he's sitting behind bars, reflecting on everything that had happened, I think he will despise his parents for the actions that they took or didn't take. But all in all, too many people have embraced the idea that accountability itself is oppression, that consequences are somehow unfair, that personal responsibility is optional, but a functioning society cannot survive under that kind of philosophy. Every community suffers when criminal behavior is excused, when victims are quickly forgotten and accountability becomes controversial. This is a sad situation for the Metcalf family. It is a sad situation for the Anthony family, but at least the Anthony family have the opportunity to still see him. I hope Carmelo Anthony one day realizes his wrongdoing. I hope he educates himself behind bars and come out ready and willing to be a productive member of society. But what are your thoughts? Do you believe the jury got it right? Do you believe the sentence was fair? And do you think America has become too divided to view cases like this objectively? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you got any value from today's video, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. And ring the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.